Good evening and welcome to Cars and Comedy with Tom and Brett. How are you doing, Brett?
I'm great. How are you, Tom?
I'm out of breath
Why?
because I'm late.
Yeah, you were late. We're supposed to start at 6:30. For those watching in real time now, it's 9 minutes past.
It's not
the start
6:30.
time. I was here on time. Sally was here on time. Why weren't you here on time, Tom?
A few reasons, Brett. I'm glad you asked. Actually, I'm not glad you. Got stuck. Working from home now. The hours are a little more fluid. Mm-hmm. So the good news is I'm home. Mm-hmm. So when I'm done with work, I'm done with work and I'm home. The bad news is the hours are a little more fluid. So,
sure.
I was on a later call for work, and you and I joked. Brett and I were talking earlier, Sally, and I said, "All right, I'll see you about 6:15." And he goes, "You mean probably 6:28?" So I said, "No."
Do you run 15 minutes late all the time?
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
I would say yeah.
Sometimes.
For the record, I would have let you off the hook.
Thank you.
That's very nice of you.
It's nice to have a real friend like you, Sally.
That's nice.
So then I put it into Waze, and it said 6:28, and I called you, and I said, "Listen, I'm just letting you know I'm getting there like at 6:30." Mm-hmm. And you said, "Okay, no worries. We'll start at 6:33." Mm-hmm. So the problem was, though, Waze coming from, I live in Northport, so coming from Northport, Waze sends me on the Northern State Parkway, and it tells me to get off at Brush Hollow Road, by Westbury Music Fair, or what
Which is right near the Wanta. Why would it tell you to?
I don't know why it didn't just say get on the Wantor from the Northern State, but it sends me to Brush Hollow Road. I make a left, and instead of going a little bit further and getting on the Wantor, I made a left and started heading east on the Northern State Parkway, heading back home again.
Great.
So I look at Waze, and I'm like, why? That's weird. Why is Waze all of a sudden adding 5 minutes to my commute? Mm-hmm. So I had to go back to 106, 107 in Hicksville, get off heading north, then get back on the Northern State Parkway heading west. This is great for anyone watching the show who's not from Long Island.
Well, that's all right. Long story short, you went the wrong way in a place that you lived your entire life. And I'm confused. I'm baffled.
Yeah.
Why would you listen to Waze or any driving map-oriented device there, and when you know exactly where you need to go? You know you needed to get off on the
Wantor Parkway, but
Sometimes you have to listen to it in case there's an accident.
No,
yeah, Brett.
Not when you know where you're going. You know where you were going.
What if there was like a big pileup of cars?
Yeah, pile up.
You go
Yeah,
around
Brett.
it. You go
Brett.
around it. You go on the shoulder. You know this
the
there.
shoulder.
You go on the shoulder. You drive on the median. Or you do whatever
We
you
don't
gotta
advocate
do.
for that on this show.
In this particular instance, though,
I should have. If I have something that's important.
Sally, you're almost a lifelong Long Islander. You've been here long enough to know that.
Pretty long.
Yeah, long enough to know that Brush Hollow Road and the Wanta are a baseball's throw away. Those exits right there.
Yes.
And you could see if there was a problem at the Wanta right there.
He trusted you.
You shouldn't. That's my point.
You're
Trust
giving him a
yourself.
hard time for having hope. You're
No.
a hope killer.
No,
Brett.
I'm not. I'm going. If it's right in front of you, there's the exit right there. It's telling me not to go there. Why? Why would I? It's wide open. Just like the new systems today with
Maybe
the
there
cars.
was a sinkhole.
Yeah,
Very possible. You could have seen that. You could have seen that.
if it was a sinkhole.
If there was a sinkhole, it's because it's right there. The exit that you need to get off on and the exit that you wound up getting off on are two different things. Like most cars today have the if there's an issue, it tells you brake. Boop 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 boop. Most of the time, there's a lot of times where you're looking around like, I don't see anything yet. It's telling me to brake. There's no potholes, no nothing, no whatever. And what happens if you just broke at that moment instead of going, boy, nothing is here. I'm looking at the road. What would have happened? You would have stopped. Person would have crashed right behind you because you listened to technology instead of listening to your heart, yourself, your gut. Right?
I don't know if you're supposed to go with your gut when it comes to traffic and driving.
There's a little bit of that, yeah.
A little bit of going with your gut.
A little bit. If there's nothing ahead of you.
So you worked for News 12 Traffic and Weather
I did do
together.
that.
You did that for a couple of years.
Yeah, almost 10 years, yeah.
Right. So I love tuning in and listening to you. And
thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Bragging to my friends that I knew you, bragging to my kids
Sure,
that I knew you.
of course.
At least my daughter, I think she was 2 at the time.
Yeah, and she loved it. She still
loved
talks to me
every
about
second of it.
Every time I say, I miss you, Uncle Traffic Brett. I said, I know, it's too bad.
So at that point, did you want people to go with their gut, or did you want people to listen to you and avoid
be-
traffic on the Throgs Neck
Because
Bridge?
we know the situation already. We're humans. Looking at cameras and gathering this information. We're not just some kind of human-ish computer app device map thing to send you off in places you wanted. How did you know Waze didn't want to send you somewhere?
Somewhere dangerous?
Yeah, because I'll tell you.
You setting me up?
I'll tell you. It happens.
I wouldn't put it past.
I wouldn't put it
Well,
past
so
Waze.
I've been relying on Siri a little bit more because
Okay.
I feel like I'm walking around with my AirPods in more lately, and then the phone rings. I like because it'll tell you that because I usually keep my phone on silent unless I'm expecting an important call. And I like how Siri now will tell you or is it Siri or Alexa? It's a Siri on your
Siri on
iPhone.
Apple and Alexa for Amazon.
Okay. So you have a call from Brett. Do you want to answer it? And I like it. You just say yes. You don't have to touch anything. And so while we were driving, I was testing it because I said, Siri, open up Waze because I switched from something else. And it opened it up. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I said, Siri, how much longer until I get to my destination? And then she's like, we don't have any trips programmed. I'm like, all right, we might not have any.
Bum, bum, bum.
I have a trip programmed.
One of us was going
One of us
somewhere
has plans at Governor's tonight in Levittown.
What?
as you're driving to Montauk.
She's like, we don't have any plans tonight, Tom. She was a little snooty.
So weird.
Yeah,
Why'd
I
she
think
be
she
like
was
that? She's not
upset.
really cool.
She was upset that she didn't know about my plans for tonight.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a doctor's appointment, and I was late. I was terribly late, and I hate being late. I hate it. Like, I'm never late. So when I'm late, I hate it. And I'm calling them. I'm like, I'm going to be like 15, 20 minutes late. I'm really sorry. And I can't figure out how to get there, and I made a wrong turn, but I'll be there in like 15 minutes. And it turned out it was a Zoom call. And when they hung up, when I got there and the office was closed, and then I called them and they're like, we couldn't figure out why you didn't know your way home. And like the whole office is like laughing at me. They're like, yeah, we just couldn't figure out. Maybe she just doesn't know where home is.
Yeah. They're all like, she thought she had to come in for that. Can you believe it? What an idiot.
What an idiot. Hasn't she been
2021.
around
We're
for
in
the
the
year?
we're in the middle of a pandemic. Just trying to
I
come
know
into
she was
the
here for
office.
mental issues.
I was just going to say, this was obviously a mental follow-up. This was to get your new meds.
She thought we actually wanted to see her in person.
What an idiot.
So weird. How was your July 4th, though? Was that
It
good?
was very nice. I'm actually just looking to see about just sharing the show out.
Oh, great.
Figured that would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
So we could
Well, I'll
have-
tell you about my July 4th. It does involve
I didn't ask.
some cars. I know.
How was your
I asked
July
myself.
4th, Sally?
No, we'll get to her in just a minute. I just want to get
Tell
to
me,
mine first. real
tell me
quick.
about your 4th of July while I try and share this out.
So we wound up having a last minute plans, go out visit some friends out in Port Jeff, and my wife wanted to drive. Sounds good to me. I have my prescription glasses. I took them from my car just in case I needed to drive later. Put them on top of her Equinox there, and I just go, I'm going to remember these. And
Famous last words.
we live on a main road, so we pulled off on the main road, and we hear, and we go, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm like, pull over, pull over. Of course, it was the
I said,
glasses.
no, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing. Dumb and Dumber. Sorry.
It's very good.
All right.
And I said, pull over, pull. I said, that's my glasses. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I'm getting out now, and I'm walking on the side, looking for it. I have my sunglasses and my regular prescription glasses, and I see like, already my sunglasses are gone. I just have literally the lenses like laying there on the street. I'm like, great. I'm like, there's my regular glasses case, which is a harder case. And I'm like, all right, good. I'm gonna get as soon as this pickup truck comes by, I'm gonna get it. Nope. Pickup truck said, F you. Right over it.
Are you serious?
There they are.
Oh, look at that.
There they are.
That's
Isn't that nice?
Goodyear right across the
Right?
top.
That's
So wait,
awful.
So
but-
there we go.
So it obviously messed this up, did
but
it?
somehow it only took the arm off.
Oh,
These
that's
glasses
great.
somehow were not scratched.
Wow.
How is that possible?
So Ray-Ban, if you want to come on as a sponsor,
Yeah, that would be
this would be a
awesome.
great testimonial. Wow. Talk about protecting
Right?
your glasses. Look at this thing.
Literally, I'm watching it like a movie. I'm like, I'm gonna get right over it. I'm like, you could have avoided it.
Yeah.
You could have done that.
Yeah.
If I saw it, you saw it.
Right.
Why
and
would you want to
especially
run
you're on
with
the side of the road.
Right.
Like looking right there,
I mean,
right?
I don't expect the guy to realize that I'm looking for my glasses, but at least
You didn't want him to get out and look with you, but
you don't know what you're running over.
Right.
You know, you don't. It's a.
Could have been a small child in
Could
that
have been a
box.
small child in here. You don't know.
You don't know.
Pet iguana.
Was
you
it
don't know.
Was it a Ranger fan, and were you wearing an Islander
You
jersey?
know what? That was it. That was it. He gave me the fingers. I walked by. He goes, "Let's go Rangers." I'm like, "Happy July 4th to you too. Happy birthday, America." So that was. Otherwise, July 4th was fine as far as that goes. So that was
So where did you go? You went to a friend's house?
friend's house in Port Jeff, and you know what? He got a Tesla recently.
Oh,
The Tesla 3, which is
your buddy.
my friend Sean. He had a Tesla. I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. I'm like, you want to take it for a ride? I'm like,
Fucking A. I mean, yes, I would.
yes, please.
Yes.
So he's like, yeah, come on, let's go. So he's got the Tesla 3, which is the lower model, but I
Still.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Really, are you going to complain?
you're right.
Right.
Not at all. And so he's giving me the instructions on what to do. Have you either of you driven a Tesla?
I haven't.
A test drive or
No.
anything? So everything's a little bit different. You got to kind of put this down like that. Put this, step on the brake over here. Do that. Look left. Raise your left hand. Okay. You know, all these different things to kind of get the car going. But once you get it going, it's really cool. And you don't really use the brake, which is weird. You can.
Right, because it's like an instant on, right?
Right.
So it's like a golf cart.
I guess, but it's a
Right.
good equivalent. I don't know if
That's what-
Priuses are like this. Are
that's what-
Priuses like this too?
I don't think to the same degree if I'm
No,
not.
I've driven a Prius. I
yeah,
use the
use the
brake.
brake.
Use the brake.
Because it's like you come off accelerating,
Right.
and as you come off, you're basically coming
Right,
to
but
a
it's
stop.
It,
right?
Yeah, it pretty much. You don't even have to touch the brake, and so that was kind of a little weird, getting used to for a second. But then once you got into it, and he's taking me, make a left over here. There's an open road over there. You can, pick it up. It got up to 70 in like no time. Like the pickup on it was just unreal. And the even cooler thing is that you can modify your horn. And one of the things you could do is make a fart sound, as his 6-year-old son showed me. Fred, what's this?
Really?
Yep. You can program pretty much any sound
My kids would love that.
as your horn.
That's cool.
So that was definitely interesting. Very weird to have that motion of not having to touch the brake, and just to completely change my mind, at least on electric cars. If they're all going to be like
yeah.
that, I mean, God bless you, Elon Musk. That's going to be very interesting
Yeah.
down the road. I mean, you have a computer screen like this in your car.
Right. It's a huge screen. I think they even call it like an infotainment screen or
It
something,
is.
right? Because it's like,
You can watch, movies, and you can watch your Netflix. You can do all that stuff there. They have games where you can use the steering wheel too as a game. If
Really?
you're parked, that kind of stuff. So that, obviously his kid loves it too, and I'd be shocked within like 10 years more cars are not very similar to. I'm sure.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Do you
Right.
guys have you ever driven the self-driving cars?
no.
It's weird. Like
Yeah.
I borrowed a car. I borrowed Tony's mom's car for a week, and you'd think you'd bring this up. So I'm on the highway.
Gas caps on the driver's side, and by the way, the car drives
By
by
the way,
itself.
you can read a book because the car's gonna drive for you. Okay, here you go. So I'm driving along the highway and I'm like fighting with the steering wheel. I'm like, what? Like, like if you have someone in the passenger
Yeah.
side and they're like
Right.
messing with you, that's how it feels. And then all of a sudden I noticed that on the panel it would be it would stay when it was happy, it would be like green lights, and it would be red if you were like deviating. But if
Being
you,
a deviant.
but if you didn't touch the steering wheel, it would just drive for you. Like, and it was so weird to just not even bother as it's going around like bends and stuff. Like
What car was it?
it's like a what do you call those? Like
Lamborghini?
Soul? Like no, it's
like
Kia? Kia
right,
Soul?
Kia
yeah,
Soul. Yeah.
one of those. But at the same time, it yells at you if you don't have the hands on the steering wheel.
Right. It's like, which is it? Right?
Like you
Make up your
can't-
mind.
You can't take a nap, but like if you don't hold on to the steering wheel, then it alerts you in a really kind of mean way, and then it just stops.
It reprimands you.
Yeah. So you have to like kind of hold like you're gently holding a golf club, I guess is like best way to describe it. Like you just have to like kind of hold it a little bit. But it's weird. It's tricky.
It is. There's no way to turn that
You
off.
have to hold it gingerly.
No, I don't think that there is. Yeah.
There is. They probably just didn't want to tell
gingerly.
you. Let's not tell her.
Let's not tell her. We don't. She's not a good driver.
We're gonna take this. We're gonna take over for her.
My father's car has that. I'm driving it right now. Actually, as I'm looking for. I told you not too long ago that I'm still looking for something, and it's hard because there isn't a lot of inventory. You know, so you keep seeing commercials where they're saying,
people are having a hard time
sell us
finding a
your
car. Yeah.
Right. And a part of it is the semiconductor issue, which is cut down on production. Everything has a semiconductor now.
Right.
Even your
and they're not around to stick in cars.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the prices have gone up on new cars. Prices are going up on used cars considerably. And you'll notice, too, like even in the ads, like Brett and I like the Brett Saslow Smith Haven commercials. When he goes, if it's not a Smith Haven deal, it's not a real deal. That guy on News, he's running like 100 times a day on News 12. And we're not making fun, Brett. If you're watching, I'd love to have you on as a sponsor.
Of course.
I've reached out to your agency. That's a true story. I would love to have you on as a guest. I love that you have the catchphrase in your commercials, and that's the truth. But I know all of his commercials right now are focused on, what we want to buy your car, whether you buy from us or not, or whether you're looking to get into another car, you have a car you're looking to sell, we'll take it. And I know, speaking for all the dealerships, they're all anxious to get cars from people so that they can, there's a very strong market for used cars. But I started off saying I'm driving my father's Volkswagen Touareg, and it's a great car. It's on the same platform as the Audi, I think the Q3 or the Q5. I think the Q5. So it feels like Giovanna and I, we've had an Audi Q7 and an A4. And, you feel like you're driving an Audi. It's a very well-built car, drives extremely well, and it has that guidance where it'll start to, guide, you in the wrong direction. I don't think it's to the same degree as what you were saying, but I definitely feel if the road's turning and I'm not turning enough, it'll guide you a little bit more. But
this one definitely, you can take your hands off the wheel and it'll go around a bend for you.
That's wild.
And like an S, it'll make an S for you. And then
S for Sally.
S for Sally.
Anyone who's driving, it does the first letter of their name.
It does. It's weird. The T's are rough.
Yeah, you should see it do a V.
Whoa!
That's cool.
And my wife, speaking of the shortages, my wife just got
Your wife is short?
that.
Okay.
And the shortage on the cars applied to her. Now, her lease was up in September. So she goes, I just want to do it a few months in advance. We'll see what's going on, because we know there's a shortage.
What's going on.
We'll see if, it was supposed to be like less stressful. It became more stressful because as the process went on, realizing that she's not going to be able to get the exact same vehicle. She wanted to get an Equinox. Hers was an all-wheel drive. There's only front-wheel drives now because of chip shortages and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And she wanted a particular color, blue, and they didn't have that. They had it, but they had only the upper level. So long story short, after a lot of, I just want to do it. I want to get it. I want it to be not stressful.
Right.
We got to do it. There's gonna be a shortage. We got to do it. We got to do it.
They're running out of cars. We're not going to have a car.
We're never going to
Hope
get
you're
it.
happy,
We're never
Brett.
going to get it. We're never going to get it.
Right.
So
we're going to take an Uber everywhere, Brett. I hope you're happy. Right.
And those are going up. Those are going up too. Have you taken an Uber recently?
Yeah.
Not in like 2 years.
It's tripled in price for basic stuff. Something that cost $12 a year or so ago was now like $30.
Oh, well.
So at least you got to compare with like Lyft and Uber. Wait a few minutes, go back in.
Right.
And one ride went from like $60 to $30 in a couple of minutes.
Right.
So that's a little PSA there. But with buying the vehicle, so finally we basically got the deal we wanted, a little bit more. She thankfully didn't have to put any money down, what she wanted, and so her vehicle is fine. But talking about the shortage of stuff too, so we took care of that. It's applied to air conditioners now too. Ours went a couple of days ago, and I'm like, all right, we got to get an air conditioner for the kid. We live in a co-op, so they have wall air conditioners. It has to be a certain size. You can't just go, I'm going to get this $200 air conditioner, slip it in there. You're going to have to be doing tons and tons of insulation and whatever. So you have to get a specific size. So we called around. We eventually got one, but before one of the places we called, the local place, it's been around forever. I'm not going to mention name, but
Is it PC Richard and Son?
that's where we actually did get the air conditioner from. So that was very good. We're very happy with that. We're going to get it on Friday. So
Crazy
I'll let you
Eddie's?
come over. Crazy Eddie's is the place. I didn't want to mention that's the place we called.
They're insane.
So the guy I called.
I had no idea they were still in business.
They're not.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not.
I'm like, really? Crazy Eddie's still around?
I think he served some time, Crazy Eddie.
And not the guy in the commercial.
The
Everybody
real-
thinks the guy in the commercial was an actor. I forget his
Right.
name, but he was not the owner, and he's not the one who went to jail. The real owner of Crazy Eddie is the one who went to jail. I believe he's dead now too. So I had a little fun tip
Womp,
for that.
womp.
Yeah,
Sorry to bring the show down.
that's all right. It's okay. So and we went to
I know you were
and we
close
went to
with him.
Beefsteak Charlie's after,
Right.
and Cookie Steak Pub. We went there too.
It's so funny.
That's
We were
fun.
just rattling that off over the
Cookie
weekend.
Steak Pub?
My sister's high school graduation party was at Cookies in Hicksville.
the best.
And we were talking about, like, between that and beefsteak. My grandfather used to send us up to Beefsteak Charlie's,
Right.
you know, like to the shrimp. And he would just sit
Yep.
there and peel shrimp like it
Yeah.
was his
Get yourself a
job
plate
for like
of
an
shrimp.
hour. And they had the pictures of sangria and stuff. But Cookies.
And then
Right.
cookies.
I think, now, is
pile
that,
of Oreo cookies too that they had too.
I didn't remember that.
Oh yeah,
That was a thing?
Dessert bar. Yeah,
I don't remember that. I remember an ice cream bar.
that
But
too, right next to it.
now, was that replaced with Anton's? Do you guys remember?
No.
In Hicksville?
No,
Or was that separate?
Cookies became a Chinese buffet, I believe.
Okay, I could picture that.
Which
now.
is now closed. I just passed by it a couple of days ago. Now that's closed. So I don't know what they're building, but it's all boarded up and what have you.
Okay, but go back to your
But
story.
yes,
Sorry.
so the it said you go on the website. It says call for price. I call the store. Guy's like, I'm like, hi, do you have this air conditioner in stock? He just sounded like.
Like he's-
It's like you
Like
would
he's-
think
he's
4th
shot.
of July weekend. This is the weekend. You're gonna make money. You're gonna make
Come on in.
commissions
Yes, sir, we have 'em.
right.
Right.
He's like, let me see. This is going on for like 30 seconds of just like. We don't have the 10,000 BTU. We got the 12,000 BTU. I said, well, how much is that? Gives me the price. Gives me the price. I'm like, okay. Do you know when you get the 10,000 BTUs in? I'll be honest with you. They're sitting on a dock somewhere. Nobody wants to work. There's a shortage of the chips. There's a shortage of workers. We got a president in office right now.
no.
He said
who,
that?
I swear to God, paying people to stay home until September. So I have no idea when there's gonna be these. It's just the way America is today. I don't understand. Nobody
shot.
wants to work. I don't get it. So it's just I don't know what to tell you. That's all right. I said, well, I'll let you know if you need the 12,000 BTU one. I'll let you know. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's okay. Don't worry about it, buddy. All right. You have a good weekend. I'm like, you too. I'm like, what the hell was that? He doesn't know what, you know.
Right.
Why would you even take a risk
Right.
these days?
Right.
You know, is there cancel culture for
air conditioner-
for air conditioner
Right.
salesmen now too? I mean, he doesn't know.
Right.
He was talking bad about our president.
right.
You
So I
know?
didn't get my air conditioner from him.
And I
Right.
will never get it from you. And we're going to have picket signs outside your store at 4 o'clock today.
Right.
So, I mean,
We're gonna have a freeze out.
it's like there's just shortages on everything. I feel like everybody's
Yeah.
just using it as an excuse. Like my friend ordered a 6-foot hero over the weekend. And he ordered
They're like, thanks a lot, Joe Biden.
he ordered
Your hero's not ready yet.
a beautiful fried chicken cutlet, of course, mozzarella, fresh mozzarella,
Right.
and roasted peppers. A beautiful 6-foot hero. He didn't put the roasted peppers on it, and said that there was a shortage
Of roasted
on
peppers?
roasted peppers.
He didn't get his shipment of
Yeah.
roasted peppers?
Guess what?
Yeah, everyone's using that as an
Guess
excuse.
what? If you don't have it, you're going to go down to wherever store
Yeah.
and just buy a couple of jars. Especially if you have an order. It's one thing, but yeah, we're all out of them today. If you have a special order,
Right.
get some roasted peppers.
Right.
Let's go. Make the hero. Come on.
I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and someone that I worked with, whenever things would really, like, when things would shit the bed or things would go bad, her excuse all the time was that it was her first day. So that was the
Oh,
excuse.
really?
Like kind of like you said, I think everyone's
Yeah.
trying to use that as an excuse when they can.
We used to have a training name tag at the front desk at Marriott, and if like a particularly mean person would come up, we'd be like fumbling and like put it on.
It's kind of like student driver, right?
Yeah,
it's
they'd be like,
That's
"I've
great.
seen you for 14 years here."
We come monthly.
she would, if things really got bad, like, what do you do? Why don't you have my car? I'm so sorry, sir. Today's my first day. And then everyone just,
And then they go,
99% of the people just
God.
go, oh, all right. Well, all right. How are we going to fix this?
Right.
They get into,
Is there someone I can talk
let's
to?
let's fix it mode versus what are you, a fucking idiot? Like that's the other way it goes unless you say it's my first day or you're going to blame it on the current administration or semiconductors.
and it's like I know in Ireland for sure, when you're like a new driver for the first 2 years, you have to put this awful yellow big sticker on the back of your car.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's the law. Like for 2 years of when you get your driver's license, new driver, and it like the kids are like all mad, but like they don't understand that they're gonna be yelled at so
Right.
Exactly.
little.
Right.
Just because then you
That
understand,
would-
you're like, oh, you're just a stupid new driver. Got it.
And what the? Oh, okay. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
I'm gonna.
Sorry.
Oh, all right. You're just a new driver.
Good luck.
I've seen some people do that here proactively, like new driver, have patience, or I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No,
But I
I've
feel
seen
like
the
that
baby
would
ones.
backfire, like on the Bell Parkway or the BQE. What are you fucking? You're a brand new driver. You're on the Bell. You're on the Bell
Doing
Parkway.
there. There's no business of you
Yeah,
being
right.
on there.
You're in the left-hand lane on the Bell Parkway. Move over. You're a new driver. Yeah, I feel like that would be that would backfire here in New York.
Here's a lesson. Get the fuck off the road.
I'll give you a lesson. Right. Use your fucking blinker. Right. Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah, shortage on everything.
Yeah, definitely. So I know, to bring it back to, I know we've been weaving in cars, but you're
Oh, I brought it back to cars with the Irish
Yes.
thing.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Great job.
Yeah,
good,
thanks.
good job. So two things. Actually, I have a funny air conditioner story if you'll indulge
Of
me.
course,
but,
I'm ready.
what was the other with the cars, with the semiconductor, with the trying to remember
Shortages,
what
chip
Oh yeah,
shortages.
no, that the Blazer, the new Ford, not Blazer, Ford Bronco,
Mm-hmm.
and Chevy Corvette. Actually, my sister has sent me links recently that they've actually halted production because the cars are just kind of sitting there and a lot of the components can't be completed. So they can't complete the cars
Mm-hmm.
and send them out for delivery because they're missing important components, which includes some of the semiconductors. Like everything is a smart thing now. So like even like, so the infotainment, that infotainment system speaks to this, which speaks to that, and there's a chip in your rear defroster, and there's a chip in the cameras, and there's a chip in the. So I'm sure the average car now probably has 60 chips or something that can all
sure.
speak to each other. And but your air conditioner story, I remember when my wife and I were in our old house. It was the beginning of a heat wave. We didn't have central air conditioning, and we had one AC unit in our room. And my daughter was like 18 months at the time. My daughter Vanessa, she's 11 now. And I was trying to convince my wife to not. Maybe we didn't have to do central air that year. Maybe we could just go get like one more of those bigger units and kind of put it in the hallway, and it'll go into Vanessa's room too. And so and Vanessa's room was small and everything. So I'm like, that'll be great. We'll just go to PC Richard and Son. We'll get one of those units. You could just kind of run the hose to the window kind of thing, and it'll do a larger area. So she indulged me. So, all right, let's go and let me see what you're talking about, right? So we went to PC Richard and Son, and I remember I asked this guy a few questions, and then he walked away while we were going to decide what we were going to do. And now we started arguing. And she's like, if we're going to spend $800 on this air conditioning unit, why not just put that towards the central air? I'm like, that's because it's $11,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because that's $21,000.
So I said, listen, I definitely think we should do the central air, but I don't know if we should do it this year. Maybe we'll do it next year. And she's like, well, when it's hot, how do we bring, we're trying to get Vanessa used to her crib, and then we bring her in our bed, and that's going to screw things up. So it was
Freezer.
it was like the first day of a heat wave coming up. And I remember that it was like, the first hot day, there was supposed to be 3 or 4 days, 95 plus. And just as we're like bickering under our breath to each other, I'm like, well, no, maybe we should just do it. And this woman comes up to us all happy. She had a notepad in her hand, and she wasn't a PC Richard employee. She goes, hi, I'm Kara Smith from Newsday, and we're doing a story about the heat wave. are you here buying an air conditioner for the heat wave? And we both just looked at her. We're like, no. It was like from a sitcom or something where it was like,
Yeah.
it was like on cue. We were both like, no. And then she was like, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about what you're doing here and you're going to be buying an AC? Like they just wanted that one little clip for their
Yeah.
story that says, Thomas and Giovanna Galati of East Northport were taking advantage of the deals at PC Richard and Son, or trying to beat the heat. So it's just funny because I remember like bickering, and like then all of a sudden it's like,
Then you team together against her.
yeah. Then we're like, no, we both don't like you.
She walks away crying.
Yeah, put that in your precious story.
It was the last day she reported for Newsday. She quit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my air conditioner story.
That's good.
But it's funny though. After we had Central Air, it was like I'd come home from work, and I was working in the city at the time, and I always felt like it was a game changer. Although I do like the notion of cranking up the air in your bedroom or in
Right.
a room with the AC, because you're more mindful, I think.
Yeah.
Of a central air, because like, oh, I'm heating the whole first floor or the whole house or whatever. So I feel like you keep it at a reasonable temperature. So it's like you walk in from outside on a day like today, like, oh, it's comfortable. But I feel like I miss the days of, growing up in Hicksville where my parents had one in their bedroom, and that was it.
That was
And it was
Never occurred to me that I'd ever have one in
More
my
than
room.
one.
Yeah, ever.
Nope.
yeah, it's
You
kind
get
of
a
like
fan.
right. You're like, I'm just gonna be sleeping on my parents' floor whenever it gets hot for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. It's kind of like Back to the Future when he's like, do you have a TV? Well, yeah, we've got two of them. And he's like, no one's got two televisions. 1955. So, but it was fun. And I know a lot of people talk like that. Like, oh, I love this peasant food that my grandmother used to make of peas and macaroni. And it costs, 17 cents to feed a family of 4, but it's so delicious. It's kind of like that notion where, we had the one air conditioner in my parents' bedroom. And I remember on like a hot day, we'd either be in the pool or whatever. And then it's like you come inside, you shower. And then I remember, like, I'd go into a cold sleeping bag on my parents' bedroom floor, and I feel it probably got to like 62 degrees in there, or 59 degrees after being on all night. And I remember like being under the cup, you blanket over you to warm up.
Your parents on the sexless season.
When is it going to be fall?
When is it going to be autumn? Oh,
Can't wait for
kid.
this heat wave to break. These kids, this is best form of birth control. This heat wave. Yeah, but it was fun. I remember.
Like no one's born in April in their house.
That's great.
That's good. That's good stuff. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I know you're watching. But those were
Tom
those,
apologizes for
yes.
those relationship busters there.
right. So what else?
Okay.
Since the last show,
Yes.
Long Island Laugh Off. Remember, I
Yes.
told you I was
How
going
did we forget about
to
that?
fill you in on how
Who
that went off, and we
sponsors
didn't
that?
have a
Is
chance
that-
to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Where's that happen?
So
Someplace we
it's
know?
put on by Governors.
Oh!
Right? Essentially, or are they the sponsor, or
Yeah,
right?
I
'Cause
think they are.
Right, because they
Yeah.
all. I mean, of course, it's Governors. By the way, when I was late, I know. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, of course.
I used the restroom really quickly right down the hall. I love the first time bringing it up on the air, but I bring it up every time I'm here in the studio. But when I think of all the funny people that have peed in that bathroom, it's awe-inspiring.
And
You
even as
talk
you're,
about having a laugh off. Yeah,
and as you're anxious running in, you're so late.
right.
It relaxes you to know.
It does, to know that Andrew
The
Dice
laughs,
Clay has
right.
gone in here. Jerry
Right.
Seinfeld has
Right.
peed in here. And some
Kevin
other,
James.
Kevin James, some other really funny people. Eddie Murphy,
Absolutely.
right?
The list goes on and on.
Louis
Over the years.
C.K.
Yeah,
Is
he's
that-
been there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even recently. Was he here recently?
Well, he was at McGuire's. So the night,
McGuire's.
so that was the whole thing. The good and bad of when I went was, they changed the date once because Louis C.K. wanted one of the dates that were originally booked for it, and so the date moved quickly. And then we went to Fire Island for a night, and then like when we came back, it was the next night, and so I promoted it a little bit, but again with all that stuff happening. What ended up happening was like a lot of people were like, what do you mean? How come you didn't say anything? Why didn't you? I would have gone. Why didn't you tell me? And like, so my wife's aunt went with her uncle, and my buddy Tommy went. My buddy Phil went. So it was a couple of people that just saw it online and were like, hey, I can go tomorrow night, or hey, I can do this. And it was cool to have their support. And now for round 2, I'll have much more support because everyone's like, why didn't you tell me? I'll go. When's the next date? Let me know. Send me an invite.
When
I'll
is
go.
the next date? Do you know yet?
I don't know. We don't know yet. And there's still actually a few things. I might reach out to Mike Nicolia because I think he's one of the key people coordinating it.
Yeah, good guy.
And he was really funny. So he was the host, and he did about a 5-minute set. And he said he was normally doing a little bit longer when he's hosting these things because he has an opportunity to do it. And he was very funny. He did a very good job the other night. So if you're listening, Mike, you did great. And
he 1 hour with WBAB with Roger and JP a few years ago. We did what we called the Comedy Riot comedy show over at Westbury, and we did Bobby Kelly and Rich Voss, and we did a comedy Thunderdome, I guess similar to what you were talking about. And Mike Nicolia won.
Right. And what was the
And he
prize
got
for
to
that?
open up. He got.
I
don't know if there was any financial.
No, but I mean, like you got to open.
He got to open up that show for them,
which
and
is cool.
And
yeah.
he did a great job, and it's nice to see him over the years now doing stuff with governors, and it's really cool to see that he's doing this kind of stuff now.
Yeah, I try to incorporate. So I was thinking of, I had my set that I was going to do for 5 minutes, and he told us ahead of time, sticking to the 5 minutes was as important, he thought, as your content, because he said, you're going to get opportunities to go somewhere, and they're going to say it's 5 minutes, and it's like the light comes on. If you miss that, then they're not going to invite you back as much, like even if you're pretty good. So, part of this contest was making sure you stayed just under that. And actually, I wish I recorded it, and I should have asked my buddy to do it ahead of time. But in the past, I would have given someone my phone, but I had my phone because I was trying to think of this. They weren't going to light up a light at like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. No.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping they would have. So I had to do the stopwatch on my phone and have it on the stool next to me, and it just kind of kept glancing at it to make sure. And as I rehearsed what I was going to do, I was trying to make sure like it was consistently coming in like just before 5. But it's hard too because you don't know how long the laugh breaks are going to happen, and I think that's one of the tough things when you're trying to time something out because, of course, if you don't get a lot of laughs, it'll go much quicker. And I felt like I had some good responses and some good laughs, and I did make it to the next round, which is really cool.
All right.
But I tried to. So Mike started off talking about his weight. He's like, I'm a couple pounds overweight, and I keep trying to lose weight. And I joined Orange Theory, so he had this whole bit on Orange Theory, and it was very funny. And he got a great reaction from the crowd. So everyone was doing the obligatory, hey, everyone. But, he was like, hey, put your hands together for Tom Galati. And everyone would come up and say, hey, how about your host? Let's hear it from Mike Nicolia. He's got a hard job tonight. He's keeping the laughs rolling. So I knew I was going to acknowledge him. And so I was trying to think off the cuff, too, thinking like, hey, maybe I'll get an extra point or two if I can, like, think of something topical for the night. I was following, we were at McGuire's in Bohemia, and the guy I was following was Tom McGuire. So I kept thinking in my head, like, maybe I could do something like, following Tom McGuire at McGuire's is like following Ronald McDonald. And I was trying to think of something that, but I couldn't think of anything that would have been funny. And so I just said something about.
Not good for a stand-up bit,
definitely not, right. So I said, put your hands together for Mike, but I messed up his name and I said D. Nicolia. So I'm glad it didn't, because I was nervous. This was the off the cuff thing, and I'm glad it didn't. I don't think he was one of the judges.
Oh my God.
I think if he was, but
maybe his middle name's Dean, and
right,
you
don't
nailed
know.
it.
Right. You're right. D. Nicolia, right.
Right. Maybe they
was
thought
smart.
you knew him on a different level.
Yeah.
This is Mike D. Nicolia, right?
So I said, poor guy's getting a bigger workout coming up and down from the stage 20 times tonight than he did from his one visit to Orange Theory 6 months ago. And then when he came up, he said, oh, thanks, Tom. He goes, you even messed up my name. Or something. I'll put your hands together for Tom. Did a great job, even though he messed up my name. And he said something. Then he gave me a dig, and he said, like, yeah, you always know the guy, 50-year-old guy with his hat on backwards. Of course, he's got a full head of hair under there or something. Like he was like, so, and then afterwards he came up to me and I said, Mike, I'm sorry I messed up your name. He's like, what are you kidding? He goes, it was great. He goes, then you gave me something to go back to you with. So I was trying to think of like, okay, what's a possible way to read the crowd or weave in something like a callback from earlier in the night. And so I did that, and that was fun. And there was a lot of people talking about post-pandemic stuff. I tell you, Chris Roach was one of the openers to like warm up the crowd. And here's some real humor. Here's some real comedy. What you're about to see may or may not be that. But yeah. And then actually, do you know Lindsay Jennings, Sally? I don't know if she's ever been on Knock 'Em Dead or. So she was she did a few open mics that I had gone to right before the pandemic, right before everything started closing up. And I thought she was very funny. And I saw her up at the bar next to me when I was getting a beer when I first got there. And I said, "Oh, you're Lindsay Jennings." And she said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, you here to see me?" And I was like, "No, not really." So then from there, I don't know if that felt the need for her to try and psych me out. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe it was just getting in my own head. But she's like, "Oh, are you a comic?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, kind of." And she goes, "What do you mean, kind of?" So I said, "Well, I've done some open mics." I said, "But I've never done anything formal, other than open mics." And I didn't tell her about my illustrious podcast career.
Of course. Why would you do that?
But I figured it was better to play it cool and downplay my not so vast comedic background. So I'm like, "Well, not really." And she goes, "What do you mean not really?" I said, "I've only done open mics." And she goes, "Well, it's pretty ballsy of you then to come here tonight."
Oh.
And I went, "Really?"
Wow.
So, and I still like her.
That was rude.
I'm not giving her a dig.
She
but
pulls
I
out a
think
knife. Next thing you know.
You're right. So she says,
Yeah, I'm trying to see what she looks like, but I don't think I don't think she's on Facebook.
Mayhem at McGuire's.
so
2 comics.
So then it worked a little bit because now I'm looking around at everyone and like,
Is that her?
let me see.
Get your glasses on. Let's see.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Alternative model at Suicide Girls. So she worked at stand-up comedian. So, yeah.
Well, her
do you know her from
her
any?
title underneath her name, she says she's loud and insensitive. So
Yeah.
she does. It's right.
If I would have read that
Check.
first,
Check.
she goes,
It's
okay.
like
Yeah.
Sally Darby. I'm a dick. At least she's
Like,
honest.
well, she warned you. It's in her bio.
It's like, what are you complaining about? She was more than honest.
Look at my profile.
Right.
It's right there.
Richard Jenny, very funny comedian, used to say with "I can't believe it's not butter." You know the product. I can't believe it's not butter. He always said, he goes, "I think the attorneys made them call it that." He said, "This way, if people complained, you could always say, look, we never said it was butter. We just said we couldn't believe that it wasn't." So when someone complains and says, "This shit ain't butter," we never said it was. We just said we couldn't believe that it wasn't. So so I think she either intentionally or unintentionally, she was psyching me out a little bit because then I started to, look around. I'm going like, maybe did I jump into this too soon? Because it was billed as an amateur event, and it is. You couldn't have had
You have to be an amateur.
right. You couldn't, but it says there's
So
some
why isn't everyone welcomed?
right.
You know?
Right. And what I found was generally at all the open mics I've gone to, everyone is super, what's the word I'm looking for?
Douchey?
No.
Sweet.
Yes. No, but I feel like
Supportive.
very supportive and encouraging. And that's the way I was the whole night. Like, I just felt like it was cool to be a part of, kind of like, I think I told you and Tony this, Sally, and I know I mentioned this to you, Brett, that one of the nights that we left, right as the club was opening back up, Rodea was playing that night. Tony was going to be opening or doing at the patio. There was a lot going on here. And I remember just like looking around, I'm going like, it's just fun to be part of this whole vibe. It was a
Right.
great vibe at the club that night. And I know that's the way it is now that things are opening up. And that's the way it's been at Governor's for the last 50 years. And, or however long it's open. But that's the way it felt for me that night. And I remember just like,
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
and it's funny,
Click on that.
Vanessa's calling me. I think she's telling me to get cornstarch. Hold on.
Cornstarch, why?
Wait. Hey, Vanessa. Do you know the show's on right now?
No.
Are you home?
That was great.
She wants to make some type of concoction that started this morning going, Dad, do we have cornstarch? And I'm like rubbing my
Is she
eyes.
making
I just
slime?
woke up. I think it's like some kind of a dough rising. It's 3 ingredients. It's like cornstarch, flour, and some type of liquid, I guess.
Okay.
So anyway, she just texted me before. Hey, while you're out, can you get? I think she didn't realize I was doing the show tonight. She goes,
Yeah.
while you're out,
It's
can
a
you get
different day. It's
cornstarch?
okay.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. We got everyone confused. Waze is confused. It sent me east and west on the Northern State Parkway.
Yeah, don't listen to Waze to get cornstarch on the way home.
Yeah.
Waze, can I get some cornstarch? Hey Siri, can I get some cornstarch? So that night, I was super encouraging to people, and I was like, everyone that came off, I was like doing the fist bump, going, "Hey, good set, man.
Thanks, man.
Hey, I like the thing about you and your
Yeah. You too, man.
You too, man. You too, and stuff. Isn't that Regan? Brian Regan?
You too.
You too, and stuff. So
You enjoy your meal too.
So
You ever
it's
get
like-
one served.
Flight attendants, have a good flight. Thanks, you too. Yeah. Thanks, enjoy your meal. You too. Later after your shift when you're eating, you too enjoy a good meal.
If you make enough money here.
So,
I remember to tip you.
So I just loved being a part of it. It was a fun night for me because, again, there was some really talented people that went up. And it was cool, too, because I mentioned, like, Chris Roach was opening, and he had some funny bits. Everyone was, not everyone, a bunch of people were weaving in, like, you know, some COVID stuff, some quarantine stuff. Chris Roach was like, if I do one more fucking puzzle with my wife, I'm going to lose my mind. And then he goes, then she did the most white trash thing ever. She goes, we should paste this one and mount it and frame it. And he's like, what are you talking about? What's come over you? What's wrong with you? Where's the woman that I married? So it was cool. And like I said, I was being super supportive. A lot of people were like, you know, you came down, hey, congrats on making it to the next round, or, you know, like that whole thing. And, so it was a fun night, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know all the rules because now a lot of people that I've been talking to about it are like, well, you have to do the same bit and then 2 minutes more, because the first one was 5 and now it's 7 minutes. And so I don't know if you are supposed to use the same 5 and then now we want to see 2 more minutes from you. And then I think the final round is 9 minutes.
Is it the same judges each round?
I don't think so. Because I just think it might be hard. Like, I was wondering, and this would be a good question for me to ask Mike, I guess, or I could email him because I was curious too. Chris Roach was one of the openers. Did they ask him to stick around as like an honorary judge? You know, he's got a really impressive background.
So you don't even know who the judges were?
I don't know who the judges were because I couldn't really tell.
Ballot.
Mike was in the back, Mike Nicolia with the table, and we had to do the sign-in thing. And by the way, I went like 18 out of like 22 comedians. And we were juggling the kids that night, and literally and figuratively. So like I got there at like 7:20. I guess I do run late because I got there at 7:20, 7:30 start. I thought they might have had it makes sense, I guess, because if someone doesn't show up, why would you have their name down, right? Someone gets scared and they don't do it. So then Mike Nicolia is like, here, you could sign in over here. You're like 18. Sorry, first come, first serve. And I'm joking with the way he said it, but I was like, no, it's okay. I said, I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to go to beer, and I'm fine. I'm happy. So you're saying I'm going to go on in 4 hours? Okay, cool. Because then I'm doing like, all right, 5 minutes plus some whatever. But yeah, so like, you know, I went towards the end of the night, and but it was a good time. It was fun, and happy I did it, and looking forward to round 2.
Nice. No date at all. Any idea?
I'm
Could
guessing
be next week.
Well, so
what are they waiting on?
I'm planning on July. There's definitely one. There's one to what's today? Tuesday.
Today's the 6th. Tuesday the 6th.
Tuesday the 6th. I know for a fact there's one on the 8th because I've seen they keep promoting it.
So there's multiple ones. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few nights, and I think each night has probably anywhere between 15 and 20 some odd comedians. And I'm guessing. So I was one of 8 my night that made it to round 2, and I don't know if that's the same formula, but. Actually, it's funny. Roy George, remember he was on my first episode ever?
Yeah, I love Roy George.
He asked me. I was trying to get him on the show. He was actually in a really bad car accident for work. You know,
really?
He's a cop, and so he had said he wants to come back on the show in a couple of weeks when he's feeling better. But
unmangled. Yeah,
and he said he says, were you doing the Long Island Laugh Off? And I said yes. And he says, oh, how'd it go? And he says, when do you go net back again? I want to see you do a set. And I didn't realize, but I said, are you doing it this year? Or have you done it? And he goes, no. He says he won in 2017.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
so,
I would like to see his stand-up. I really like him, like just as a person. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's a good.
Did he?
Guy.
Was he driving or was he?
I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, because I know like my dad was a sergeant in Queens, and he had gotten in a bunch of accidents. And when you're a sergeant, a patrolman drives you.
Right.
And he was so sick of getting into accidents because they would give him these stupid new kids.
Right.
And so
it's like if I get in one more accident.
He was a cop for like 30 years. Like the last like 10 years that like the new guy would come in to drive and he'd be like, get over there. And he would like drive the patrolman. He's like, my knees can't take one more accidents with you idiots.
I'm trying to look at the Long Island Laugh. So I see Thursday, July 15th. Does that sound like something that could be happening?
How many people get cut off? Like, how many people are on stage and how many people go to the next level?
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know if...
You probably said it 17 times and it didn't register.
Well, no, my night was like 22 people, I think.
And how many people went forward?
Me and 8 people total. Me plus 7 that night.
Wow.
And
that was harsh.
Yeah, but it's funny. Mike came out beforehand. He had one other comedian go while they were tallying everything, and once he had it tallied, the comedian was doing like a 5-minute set. I don't remember his name, but he was funny too. And he goes, all right, guys, listen up. He said, so if I call your name when I go up on stage, he said, you should feel good. It was a good thing. And he said, and if I don't be too bummed because it doesn't mean anything. Like he was like saying, like, look, it's great, but it's not the ultimate judge.
So
like you could have had a bad night or could have been up against some
work on it.
Exactly. So he was very supportive too, and which I thought was good. So I don't know if it's the same formula. Like I don't know if it's intentional that it was supposed to be 8 out of that night, or maybe if you scored over a certain threshold, you make it to round 2, whether it would have been 8 people or 12 people that night, or maybe only 4.
No, I get it.
So these are all good questions. Maybe we should have Mike call in on the next show or join us. I think that might be cool to talk about it.
This they have the list here of comics, and the one you just did on June 30th that had your name on it. The one on July 15th does not have your name on it. It's also an opening round here. So
right. July 15th,
there's like a whole bunch of different groups.
Yeah, you see Tommy Farrell towards the bottom, I think.
I do, right here
so
in the middle.
I'm planning on going that night because he came out to support me, which I really appreciated, and I'm going on the 15th to support him as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to be there that night. Be interesting to go and just be a straight observer. But it was kind of cool because there were a lot of people sitting at the bar drinking, and some people weren't looking at any notes. Some people were just watching the comedians. Some people were, scribbling things down to probably tweak or whatever, or help with memorization. Other people were walking around the parking lot. I actually did that because I guess the good thing is I had a lot of time. So you could hear, they have microphones outside at McGuire's in Bohemia.
Right.
So I guess if you go outside for a smoke or you go out to get something from your car or whatever, you could still hear the comedians going. You could hear them in the bathroom. I spent a lot of time there in the beginning after I got psyched out for Megan Jennings throwing up in the bathroom. But it was cool because I just felt like I was part of this, part of this group of people that you're watching everyone prepare. Everyone has their different way. Some people didn't look at anything and I know what I'm doing. And again, other people like me were feverishly prepping in some way. And I did a few laps around the building as I was saying some things out loud and working some things out in my head or whatever. And
what were you saying?
Right.
Fuck.
Holy shit. Maybe Megan's right. I don't belong here.
Why was she so mean to me? She was so mean. She was too mean to me.
I didn't do anything to her. Why would you say that? I thought we were just doing this for fun.
I didn't look at her Facebook profile. I didn't know she was like that.
What happened to the circle of trust? I thought this was the circle of trust. So, yeah. So maybe we'll have Mike on to talk about it in the future. He might be a good guest on Knock 'Em Dead too, coming up to talk about it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's fun, it's exciting, and of course that was all the banter at the 4th of July at my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house.
He's a comedian now.
Oh, here he is, Jerry Seinfeld. Way to go, Jerry. Hey, get me another beer. Hey, Comic Strip Live, get me a beer. Literally, that's what happened. And of course, my wife's rolling her eyes the whole time, oh, here we go. But Frank,
say something funny.
Yeah. So yeah, let me hear. What'd you do? What'd you say? What was your bit? What's your thing? Oh, and then that was that part of the night. And then it was there were episodes of Seinfeld with, oh, here, I'll give you some material. Who's funny? Anthony's Uncle Jerry. He's very funny. You should follow him around. He'll give you all the material you need. So it was it was that all day. And of course, as the drinks went on, the lines got funnier.
Sure.
It was all right, let's hear. No, what'd you do? I want to hear I didn't know you. I didn't think you were that funny, or So it was a lot of that from sharing it out on social.
Well, hopefully we can mention it if they ever give you a date.
Yeah.
Think they'll give you more than 24 hours notice?
Yeah.
That would be great.
Definitely. If Louis C.K. doesn't want to play that night, then I should be golden.
Maybe he'll open for you guys. Instead of Chris Roach, it'll be Louis C.K.
That would be great. That would be amazing.
And he goes an hour and then winds up knocking everybody else out.
Right.
Sorry.
We
didn't have time tonight.
He went too long. Do it another time. We have to do our live read.
Of course. Personal Touch Car Wash. The longtime sponsor since 1987, since we've been doing the show. If you want a free car wash, do we still have some today, Tom?
Yes.
Do we have some? Great.
Yep.
If you text them and they say no, then you're too late. So text them now. That's Personal Touch Car Wash. You will get a free car wash right now. Text Elwood, ELWOOD, to 844-518-0909, 844-518-0909. Text the word Elwood to that number to get a free car wash now from Personal Touch Car Wash. 2 locations, one in East Northport, 1977 East Jericho Turnpike, and in Bohemia, 1261 Lakeland Avenue. Unlimited washes starting at $23.95. They do full service details. Ask Tom about that. He's done it. And Personal Touch Car Wash, a dirty car is what?
It's a dirty shame, Brett.
It's true.
Yeah.
ElwoodCarWash.com for Personal Touch Car Wash.
Nicest people
Thank
in
you
the
to them.
world.
They are.
Love.
We're going to go
love
have
those
dinner
guys.
with them now and sleep over. And it was cool. They only have one air conditioner. And to take you back to your old
we're gonna
days,
sleep on the floor in their
we're going
bedroom.
to sleep there tonight on the floor. And it's going to be great. It's like a little bonding experience. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Great callback.
Thank you very much.
The other 2 things I wanted to mention quickly was the car show that I do for the Michael Magro Foundation.
Yes.
That's going to be Monday night, August 9th.
In a blink and it's here.
We'll be sharing that out. That's going to be at the Sears parking lot in Hicksville, so all cars welcome. We ask for a $20 donation per car. It goes to help local families affected by pediatric cancer. I'm very proud to serve on the board of the Michael Magro Foundation. The other thing I wanted to mention was if you want to get involved, I made a joke about Ray-Ban and Smith Haven Dodge. But if you want to get on as a sponsor, if you want us to do a live read, just like we do for the fine people at Personal Touch Car Wash, we're putting together some great packages for not only our show, but all the shows here at Govs Radio. There's a lot of really exciting things happening here, some new shows happening, awesome talent, some great people, and it's just so exciting to be a part of it. So the governor's crew here is so super supportive of all the shows here. So if you want to get involved, you could reach out to me directly. Again, if it's our show or any of the shows, I can help put you in touch with the people that are making those decisions here. So it's carsandcomedyshow@gmail.com, right?
I'm 99% sure of that. Yes, carsandcomedyshow@gmail.com.
Right. So if you want to reach out to be involved as a sponsor with our show or any of the fine shows here, please do so. Thank you for tuning in tonight. A new night for us, but we'll be back on Saturday nights coming up soon. So check us out on Facebook or Instagram.
Right, and Gov's Comedy Radio. Was it CovsComedyRadio.com?
GovsRadio.com.
Gov's Comedy Radio on Instagram. GovsRadio.com to see past episodes of almost all the shows here.
Right. Follow our show. Follow Govs Radio, and you'll find out, you can learn more about all the great shows here. You'll see them getting promoted, and there's a lot of funny clips that get shared out too from the team here at Govs. So thank you everyone for tuning in.